change the chat.
Hey, now we're back because some utter fool, some total stupid person
who would do such a
decided
thing?
to put copyrighted material on our stream. Oh my God.
Who would do something that idiotic?
Who?
Are you
Who
sure you're live?
indeed? Oh my God. Who indeed would do this?
I don't see the stream anywhere.
Yeah, I don't see the
It's
stream
up to, I
either.
see people in chat.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who will send me a link so I can get the chat.
Yeah, hold on a second. Ah, fucking Adam.
I'm looking at the stream and I don't see it updating with new.
No, it's going to be a completely new link. You'd have to go to the channel.
I don't see that either. I'm there. I'm looking at it.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I know there's people in the chat. I don't know how they got there.
Yeah,
send Adam the link.
How'd you send it to me? Twitter?
Yeah, I DM'd it to you. People are saying there's an echo.
Where are they seeing it? I don't see it anywhere on your channel.
That's not good. If you're not seeing it, other people aren't seeing it.
Well, what I'm seeing is
I got the link.
call in 103 and it's like 7 hours long and it's like
yeah,
that's yesterday's.
Yeah, I don't see anything else.
Yeah.
Oopsie.
Well, that was exciting.
Oh my God. As soon as I saw the chat go down, I knew exactly what had happened. And I was like, oh,
yeah.
fuck.
Oh, it's people saying, okay, wait. People are saying it's a link in the Discord. Let me.
Oh, okay.
I'll tweet it out and then I'll YouTube comment it out. Back from Adam's Dum Dum.
I'm so sorry, man. I'm so glad we didn't get a copyright strike. Holy cow.
Yeah, I'm still not seeing it. I don't understand it. I keep reloading the page, but I don't see.
It's not showing up on PSA Stitch on Daily.
It's not showing up on the channel, yeah. But hopefully that'll get.
Where is it? How are they in chat? I don't get that.
They said that because the Discord automatically tells people.
Yeah.
Is it not on your channel? I don't get that.
Yeah,
that's weird.
I don't know. But we've had that problem before. See, we're back from Adams. Oopsie.
Yeah. They can hear us. What's up, guys? We can see you in the chat. Let us know if you can hear us, obviously.
Post. Okay, tell me if you can see the post I just posted on the channel.
No, it wasn't the Bjork music video. It was Hardcore Henry. How is Hardcore Henry on YouTube yet? Like, why is it not striked off of YouTube?
Because because it's the Hardcore Henry people that put it on YouTube.
Exactly. Oh, you think so?
Yeah. They strike like people trying to compete with them and steal their stuff.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, that won't happen again, obviously. Okay. I don't know what I was thinking. I wasn't thinking, which is why you don't have free will when you're not thinking.
He just proved SSC rights. There's no free will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful. This is so shitty.
It's not.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, here's a question. You playing any good games, Fitch?
No.
You know what's a good game?
Subnautica?
Disco Elysium.
Oh.
It's really good. You ever heard of it?
I do see the new one in my notifications. So even though I don't see it on your channel, I do see it in notifications.
Let me go to my subscribed. I'll see if I can see it. Yeah, I think it's on my subscription feed, but not on your channel.
It wasn't me. Okay. No, guys. No, don't say that in the chat. No, it wasn't me. It was Sitch. It was Sitch's fault. Mm-hmm. Sitch was going on and on and on about free will.
Okay,
and I was thinking,
anyways.
Wouldn't it be nice if I had free will? Here, put some videos on.
Now I'm depressed. Let's finish this up. Thanks, SSC, for being the harbinger of doom. And
you're welcome.
Talk to you later.
I'll leave you with this. You should read Slate Star Codex blog. It's incredible, and it's really relevant to a lot of things you talk about on the stream. And I'll send you some links if you guys are interested.
I
after this.
bookmarked it, and I'm going to read quite a bit of it. Definitely looks interesting. So
Don't
take
just
care,
read
man.
random ones. Like some of them are like really boring, but like
Okay.
just read the best of the best. I think the best one, in my opinion, is I Can Tolerate Anything Except the Out Group.
I'll check
That's
it out.
like it explains like political polarization perfectly. Check it out.
I will. I'll look it up now. Take care, man.
I ruined your stream. You too. Bye.
Later. Okay, who is next?
No one.
No.
Oh, really?
Get out of here, SSC. Get out of here.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hello?
Hey now.
What's up, no one?
Hey, what the fuck is going on with you guys' stream? Is it back?
Yeah, we're back.
We're back.
Oh, wow. Okay.
See, this is what happened. I was literally about to reveal the nature of reality. I was about to tell you, everyone, the divine truth. And the people that programmed the simulation said, no, you cannot hear this. And they pulled the stream. So
Okay.
They got a nice big live icon on the channel now, though. So
okay. It just probably takes a while to show up.
I'm curious
I
if
was
that
just
video is
watching.
just lost to eternity or if it'll pop up back in your stream. Sometimes they
Well,
pop
no,
back
see, but
up.
that's what pisses me off is that the video is just fucking gone
Yeah.
forever. Like I wouldn't mind if it was the video was up and people could watch it, but it's just gone. It's fucking
You know,
gone.
small silver lining. I did accidentally dox my name in that original video, so it's gone forever.
There you go.
There
you go.
there is no in the one that we were just doing because it was on screen.
Yeah, because I cool because like I have to use fucking Zoom for school. It's like the worst thing ever, but
That's cool.
because like because people don't like fucking use it. Well, like they show up and then they just start playing fucking video games in the background. It's like the most common thing to do during class.
Mm-hmm.
But
All right.
I guess I only have 10 minutes, so I want to make that count.
Yeah,
I'm a
what are
little-
we talking about?
Yeah, I'm a little pissed because Noble Bear like kind of took my thunder from me because he was just like, oh yeah, I got this book recommendation for Peter Zion, and I'm like, you motherfucker.
Oh, he stole it.
That was gonna be my whole fucking thing because Adam was talking. I know Adam had brought up a topic about him yesterday during somebody else's thing, and it was about China and how they were going to collapse. And I actually went out of my way to grab some of host is disabled screen sharing. Oh, okay. I was gonna grab like some notes and stuff and like explain what he why he kind of explained why China was kind of like totally fucked essentially in this
Well, tell us.
world order. Wish I had the graphic, but I'll just do it. There's I forget what did he describe it as?
China's been
there
at war
was-
with itself for like 1,000,000 years.
Yeah, but one of them because he doesn't really go. I don't think anything like their specific politics, but there is a lot going on with China at the moment. They had like this big. They've had this big issue where like they're on like kind of like the verge of collapse politically, and their ruler, I forget what it is. I think it's like Zhang or whatever. He was supposed to like announce his successor, I think back in 2015, and I don't exactly know what came of that, but I know that he was saying that he was just basically not going to give it up at all, because he didn't think that China could handle giving up or a transition right now because they're actually experiencing
Hilarious.
they're experiencing like this they're doing this huge anti-corruption campaign right now in China. There's like a lot of shit that's going wrong there, and like when you look at like economically, like look at like the graphs and stuff, especially with their credit, and I forget exactly what it's called, but like you can see this graph of like money exchange in and out of China, and it gets to like 2016, and you just see this massive bar of like money leaving China, and it's like, ladies and gentlemen, that is capital flight. That is what you do when you think the end is nigh.
True. Very much so.
Like a bunch of people are like that are like in China are basically trying to find any way to get themselves out of China right now. And one of the major things is, I think it was that what Zion likes to talk about a lot, which is the post-war or post-world order that the U.S. imposed after World War II to combat the Soviets. Because like everybody that wasn't the Soviets, even China, even though they're communist, signed up for it initially. And it was, everybody found it beneficial because it was his famous phrase was guns for butter.
Yes.
We give you military aid and you get free trade, and you agree to to be against or with us against the Soviets. But one of the other major problems with China, not just like, they have this huge political upheaval at the moment. They also are this massive or like net oil importer. Like they have like no way to produce it locally, unlike the U.S., which we're having this huge boom in U.S. shale right now, which has actually made us like a net exporter for like the first time in like years. So, and because of the fact that China has to like get it from somewhere, and because we're no longer providing military aid to keep the peace, I mean, like you have China, you have Korea, and you have Japan that long before we got there was constantly at war with each other.
Yep.
And about one of the only major your naval trade ways that China has to get oil can be intercepted by the Japanese, but the Japanese can take a different trade route that China doesn't have access to, that like the Chinese have no way of intercepting. So the Japanese will be able to completely box them out, essentially, of a huge commodity that will be like, it's oil. It's going to be absolutely necessary for like running pretty much anything that's like military wise.
Right.
Not only that, his other point was that he's like, when you look at the military around the world, his famous example is he brings up like a picture of like a carrier next to a super carrier, and he's like, there's 60 odds carriers in the world. 3 of them are owned by the U.S. or I don't know the exact number, and I hope I don't fuck that up horribly, but it doesn't really matter. He's like, because he's like, there's only 10 super carriers in the world, and they're all owned by the United States.
Really?
Yes. I don't know if anyone else has made anything close to that yet, but I also know that he's like China's carrier is like, it's a converted casino. I'm not worried about their military powers.
Yeah, so the super carriers, I guess, are the important thing. So China, because someone else was in earlier saying that China has a navy. Maybe they were in the chat, I can't remember, but they were saying China has a navy, and the guy
They said
is
China's
wrong.
navy was shitty. That's what they were saying.
Yeah. Well, and I think I can't remember exactly what he said, but like the thing about the super carriers is I think like one of them is equal to like the potential firepower of like 10 carriers.
Really?
Well, but does this? I mean, doesn't this only matter if it's a country versus another country that doesn't have nukes, right?
He doesn't really get into that, but I don't know if China has nukes or a way to obtain nuclear energy.
I thought China had nukes, 100%.
I don't know. I'm not able to comment on that. I don't actually know for sure, but I know that like
nuclear weapons. China has about 320 nuclear warheads.
Okay, yeah.
So, I mean, I think we have like thousands, but I don't think you need thousands.
I think the problem is that like, regardless of who you are, if you start using nukes, like it's going to alert everybody else.
Sure. But I mean, I'm assuming the question isn't, I'm assuming that no one expects a hot war between China and America, right?
Yeah. Well, no, they're not. He's not even predicting a war between China and America. He's predicting, like what he calls brush fire wars between like, China, Japan, Korea.
Okay, right. Gotcha.
Yeah, he's basically saying like, once we pull out of there, there's no reason for them to play nice with each other.
Right.
And there's no reason to assume that they would.
But are we going to pull out of there?
Well,
I assume we wouldn't.
Out of China, we're totally decoupling with China. What happens with Japan?
No. But I mean, in terms of, we're not going to pull out of defending Japan and all these other places from China.
Possibly.
Oh well.
I mean, if we can make cars over here, why not? Like, why do we got to ship cars from Japan? Fucking, they can make their own
was the
cars.
thing that Zion was talking about. He's like, like the idea of just protecting people for the fuck of it is like not appealing. And Trump is like, well, I'm not gonna fucking do this.
Totally.
Deal.
Exactly.
So, and the thing is that we did make deals with China and Japan, but they were multilateral deals. Like, we had trade and we had the military, but they had to bribe us up way higher than like any of the previous deals.
Right.
And Japan's deal was basically just, they didn't even try to get us to ally. They were just like, if you can stay out of it, if you could be neutral in the coming conflict, that'll be good enough for us. Whereas I think China was a lot more like just begging to keep something alive, so that way they don't just get utterly fucking like decimated in the coming years from the potential fallout from pulling out of from the US pulling out of China and pulling all of our military back.
Well,
Yeah.
I guess we'll see.
It's an interesting thing. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but
yeah, I get, like, I will agree with Noble Bear. You definitely should read all of his books, all three of them. I have not myself, but I've watched like a ton of his presentations. My favorite thing, or the annoying thing, depending how you want to look at it, is that he kind of gives the same presentation at a lot of different places, but there's always like different information that he'll go over that's in all three of his books.
yeah, no, I'll probably jump straight to the books.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you just wanted to have the most comprehensive understanding of like the things that he goes over, it definitely the books all the way. But I mean, like he there's so much that he goes over, and like me being like a proud American who like don't give no fuck about the rest of the world. Everything he predicts is just like, there's no part of this statement I don't love. It's like, you're telling me the US cannot fail no matter what the fuck we could possibly fuck up, and the rest of the world is completely beholden to us and will utterly collapse without us. I'm like, yes, this is how the world should be.
I want it to be this way, so I'm going to assume this is the way it is. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is too, I'm not. I think Noble Bear had a better understanding of his history. I know that Zion likes to try to prove himself wrong, just to make sure that his information is accurate. And I'm not 100% sure on this, but I think part of the thing is that like his business is information, so I don't know how widely available the things that he talks about actually is out there.
Right.
But
cool. Definitely check him out.
Oh yeah, I mean, I didn't have a whole lot outside of that. I did have like visual aids that I wanted to use, but
that's fine.
It's ultimately fine. I was just gonna go over one of his other things, which was demographics, because he loves to bring that up. And yeah, because he said basically, he's like, the thing about China is that they've had that one child policy around for so long that they're now fucked. They have no 25-year-olds left.
Really?
It like 15 years, like they will basically be so anemic population wise that like most of their economy will collapse, because they'll have this huge amount of retirees that nobody can pay for.
Yeah, that's so weird, that one child policy. I guess.
Yeah,
are they just gonna have to start importing immigrants?
They might.
Basically.
They might, but clearly they don't like the Muslims. So
I was
Yeah,
gonna say
they're
they don't like the
anti-immigrant.
immigrants they have, so maybe.
you,
Yeah.
I mean, you guys just got like brought that, so we're not going into that. But I mean,
Right. Yeah, they're not treating the Uyghurs and the Tibetans too great. So yeah, that's probably
Yeah.
not what they're on board with.
yeah, I don't know. Have you seen some of the videos of like, because like the thing is, China's like super active. Like they're about as active as I would say Russia has been kind of recently with trying to find any way to expand out. The
Mhm.
difference between the two is that China's doing it silently, whereas like, Russia's going in guns blazing.
Right.
That's kind of the only option they have. But there's a lot of Chinese presence in Africa. And the only reason I even bring it up is just like you'll watch these videos where like these Chinese guys will just berate these locals and just be like, the Europeans came in here, they gave you all this nice shit, all this like these railways, like these power plants. They sit, he's like, they brought you out of the third world and you let it all fall to complete garbage.
Right. Yeah, I've seen that movie that I forget what it's
Yeah.
called. The one about the guy trying to build the trains and they're like trying to get the gravel and it's just a big disaster.
Yeah. I've seen only the clip, but I mean, like, the thing is that I don't know what China's plan is, but like, I know that a two-child policy is not going to fix it. So they kind of need to go the route of Japan, where they just have a bunch of media that's just like, hey, do you like this small, innocent-looking thing that looks kind of like a baby? Don't you want this? Please have baby. Anime is terrible for that. I mean, like, I could go all day about the amount of animes that are just literally there to be like, hey, you like this, right? Please fucking have them. Please make these. Please literally fuck for the sake of our country.
Well, look, I mean, hopefully China gets fucked, because fuck them. Right?
Well, I don't
Oh,
want to
yeah.
compete with them. I'm scared to death of China as far as AI goes. So, but maybe I should.
Oh,
not
Doesn't
worry
look like
about
you
that.
have to be worried at.
I know that's why that's why I like this guy. Immediately, I was like, "Oh, this is something I can enjoy."
The other thing that he goes on about, which I like for, unfortunately, probably watching too much Sargon, but he's like, the European Union is just fucked. And I'm like, yes, absolutely. I love everything you're saying right now.
Mhm.
Hey, I don't know if the guys in the chat are listening, but there was one guy in the chat that I have Chairman Brow on the list. And the other guys I don't. Oh wait, I do have Nate. Nate's on the list. I'll let Nate in next. I don't know who Ooh Yeet McGee is, and I don't have him on the list. And I don't know who TNU is, and I don't have him on the list either. I remember
it's
you, no one. You came in late on the last stream, so
Yeah. I was talking about how I actually liked the debate yesterday, not because I thought it was good, but just because it was like, it's like watching a train wreck.
yes,
You can't look
yeah,
away.
Totally.
You just want to see the carnage happen. You don't even care what the original reason you were there for was.
Yeah,
Although I
totally.
guess maybe there was a little bit of bias because I was watching it through Dev's stream or FS.
Oh, he was doing he was like watching it live.
Yeah, he was watching it with Scrump, his transgender furry friend who I don't know her name. I'm
Lilith.
sorry. Yeah, Lilith, and I think fuck, who's the other guy? Arch was there too, and they're just saying they're watching it, and it's just I remember they're just like, man, this is great. It's like watching internet's blood sports.
Yeah,
Well, cool.
Yeah.
We're glad we got you in today, and the stream didn't explode before you got to come in.
I saw it and I was so pissed because I was like, I'm fucking literally the next guy.
We got you, and we took care of you.
Gotcha.
All right.
But anyway, thanks, no one.
Yeah, absolutely. S class is best class. I'll keep I'll keep spending as much money as it takes for that to be more and more true. Although I will admit, Adam made me think for a second because the fact that he actually looked up Zion after I recommended it.
Future A team.
I'm gonna look it up.
Future.
I'm gonna listen to.
Future
I'm not gonna.
A-Team.
I'm not gonna read the books, but I'll listen to. You said he had lectures that are repeated.
Oh yeah,
I'll
he's
listen to
got.
some of them. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think I saved
I
it
guess
away.
I could email a couple of his if you'd like.
Sure.
I have no right to claim any A-Team right now. I feel like so low from screwing up the stream.
That's true.
I've obviously taken Sitch is obviously unhappy, which I feel
Adam's
I
taking
feel bad
taking
about.
a huge dip in popularity right now.
No.
I mean, I think the thing is, I'll always be S-Class because I found Sitch first and
That's
watched
true.
him predominantly more than you, Adam.
So
Not
it's
because I
just
didn't-
confirmation bias then. You do you really want to be driven by confirmation bias? Is that
It's
that
not-
real?
Is anyone not driven by confirmation bias, Adam? Why do you want? Why? Like I was gonna say,
Exactly.
Don't give in to the
Exactly.
confirmation bias.
think about why you two even want this stupid feud. It's like S-Class, A-Class, or A-Team. It's the ultimate confirmation.
Oh, you're
bias.
totally right. You're totally right. Anyway, this was fun, man.
Oh yeah. I will email you Sitch some of his talks if you would like that. Watch them
Sure.
because they are great.
Sure.
And
Cool.
that-
I'll check them out.
Yep. All right. See you guys later.
Take
See you
care,
later.
man.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can. What's up?
Hey, what's up, Nate?
Not much. I got some bad news. I am
Uh-oh.
terminal. I'm going to be dying by November 3rd, and it's an unknown disease. The doctor said there's only one solution. They need Louis Laveau to end up on the Adam and Sitch podcast. That's the only way I'm gonna live. So
Who is? I tried to look up Louis
That's
Laveau,
funny.
and I've seen Louis Laveau before, but I can't remember how to spell his last name, so I can look him up properly.
VAU. But ask Sargon. If you can get Sargon, you can definitely get Louis. They're like best friends.
Yeah, that's cool.
Why do you want us to have Louis on? So, is this what you want to talk about, or do you want to talk about something else?
No, he's just super based, and
Okay.
I honestly think he'd be a great guy to have on.
Mhm.
But I did want to ask. Do you guys want to know how I lost my virginity?
Sure, tell us.
Sure.
Sounds
Yeah.
interesting.
Well, it was kind of how I lost my first game of middle school football. I was like 13. I ended up beaten, bloodied, and bruised, and crying. But at least my dad came.
Oh my god! I knew that it was going in that route.
Oh no. Oh god.
Yeah. So no, I actually had some things I wanted to talk about.
Do you want
the
to be
first-
on camera? I'll put you on
Yeah.
camera if you want to be.
Yeah,
I know
actually, I wanted to show you guys
you're
my-
you're practicing your comedy routine here, so I figured you might want this recorded for posterity's sake.
There you go.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking about starting a podcast with my friend, and I hope to get
Do
back on
it.
it to you guys at some. So, but yeah, if you have me on camera, I wanted to show you the Halloween mask I made.
Sure, let's see it.
That was
Oh,
cool.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, it was like maybe 40, $50. It's just burlap and some bones, and basically it's a hockey mask. But yeah,
I did
So-
something very similar. I made a mask like that too. Made it out of paper mache, but used a hat. Yeah, it's nice.
oh yeah. So one thing I wanted to talk about was, I know that like one thing I learned from you guys is that most people follow their intuition instead of being rational. A lot of things. By the way, thanks for recommending Jonathan Haidt. And in fact, I got a copy of Why Nations Fail right here.
No, perfect. Nice. I'm glad I got you on
But-
camera for that.
In the world where people act rationally, I wish that people would apply probability to their decisions on politics. Because if you look at like, a lot of people are like, oh, we're really upset about this like racial divide and tension and whatnot. But like, what's the probability of Biden, if he gets elected, actually, bringing people together? To me, that seems very, very low. Versus the probability of Trump not getting us involved in future conflicts abroad,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't think that people on the left really take in the probability of the things they want fixed actually happening.
No, totally not.
It's all they don't. It's all driven by emotion and people. I mean, it's like the riots. You think the people burning shit down? They're not calculating probability of like what they actually want to come forward. They just want to be
Yeah.
angry and lash out.
and it's not like it needs to be like numerical. Like I'm not asking people to actually like, I'm just saying if they actually thought about like, well, what are the chances of
Is this furthering
these-
my cause? Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
So,
What is your probability take on the election? Are you a Trump guy or a Biden guy?
Oh, so I worked on the Hillary Clinton campaign for the AFL-CIO.
Really? Wow.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I was in charge of an office of 60 people,
Mhm.
and it was North Carolina, not where I live. But the thing is, a lot of my friends were kind of SJWs at the time, and I guess I was too, to a certain extent. Not an SJW, but like I was a kind of a socialist. And I didn't become a Trump supporter then. In fact, I hated Clinton.
Mhm.
But after talking to so many people door to door, I'm talking like 50 people a night or whatever, I realized like everybody was worried about what was going to happen in the country. And I just wish that people on the left would go and talk to people who aren't on the left, because
Mhm.
they'd see they have legitimate, grievances. But
Right.
I'm for Trump. I totally think he's going to win.
Yeah. Yeah,
It
no,
could
I
go either
totally
way.
agree. I agree. Like talking to people is the thing to do. Everyone has all these misconceptions about the people they're fighting online or whatever, and so many of them aren't true. I'm arguing all the time with people on the left on Twitter, and they just have this idea that I don't care about people, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Of course I care about people. I want the policies that are going to be best for people. And I think always jumping to, oh, this is systemic racism is not necessarily going to get you to the best possible solutions for things. We were talking about
or the old tried and true, conservatives are just voting against their own self-interest.
yeah, it's so cliche. It's totally cliche. We were arguing about the coronavirus stuff, and it seems to be pretty obvious now that vitamin D is important. And vitamin D, for some reason, has to do with being in the sun and stuff like that. A lot of people of color have low levels of vitamin D. Like that should be being blasted out. That should be being publicized on CNN every day. Like every single Black American should be on some sort of vitamin D supplement. But no, CNN all day long, they're talking about my racism. Like, yes, it's the coronavirus is disproportionately affecting Black communities not because they're low in vitamin D, because systemic racism. It's so evil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I study economics. I'm getting my bachelor's of science, and I
Sweet.
think you talked about Thomas Sowell, but I think this is a name that's never really talked about by anybody who I know of. Is F.A. Hayek? Have you guys ever read any of his work?
No.
Hayek?
Hayek.
Yeah.
Hayek.
Yeah, he's like the big guy. Go ahead.
Yeah, so he was a contemporary with Keynes, and they had a lot of back and forth, clash and whatnot. Hayek, he grew up kind of in like the German. I think it was Germany was where he may have grown up, but he kind of saw the failures of socialism and things like that. So 2 books. The first one's really short. It's The Road to Serfdom. It's a perfect, concise, explanation of why socialism or any kind of what he calls planned economies don't work. And
Nice.
basically the argument comes down to, a government can't coordinate prices because they'll never know what's happening on the ground. So like, let's just, say that there's 2 t-shirt shops in town, and all of a sudden one of the owners gets slandered as a racist or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the opportunity for the other guy to be like, yo, come buy my stuff. Oh yeah, I'm not a racist. And then you can get a lot more sales and things like that. And that kind of stuff on the ground can't be coordinated, succinctly and quickly by a government. So, yeah.
Yeah, planned economies are horrible. I use the planned economies thing in my 12-year-old should vote like argument all the time. Because the people who take the other side of that argument always want to say, 12-year-olds aren't smart enough to vote. So it's easy to say, oh, so only the smart people should vote, right? Well, the logical conclusion of that argument is that you should have a planned economy, right? You should only have the smart people making the decisions, which is actually a terrible idea. So,
yeah, technocracy is horrible, unfortunately. The other book is on the Constitution of Liberty. That's another one by Hayek. really good. It's a lot longer, but there's a lot more good juicy details in there. But yeah, one of the things I wanted to talk about was simulations, actually.
Simulation theory, yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can't.
yeah.
I'm not at liberty to disclose any information from the simulation people.
Well, I'm going to come at this from a completely different angle. One of the earliest people to talk about this stuff was John Baudrillard. Have you guys ever heard of him?
I've heard of him, but I'm not familiar with the specifics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, if you've seen The Matrix, the opening of The Matrix, when Mr. Anderson is opening up a book to get code to give to Trinity at the very beginning, the book he opens up is Simulations and Simulacrum, which is Baudrillard's pivotal work. And it's also the point where Morpheus is like, "Welcome to the desert of the real." That's a reference to Baudrillard too. But I'm just going to quickly read basically the opening of the Simulations and Simulacrums real quick. The simulacrum is never that which conceals the truth. It is the truth that conceals that there is none. The simulacrum is true. So, does that? Okay, tell me what you think. Does that make any sense?
I don't know what that means. Explain.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, he talks about how there's like 3 or 4 orders of simulations or simulacrum. The first of which is like a perfect copy. So maybe a picture of a coffee cup or something like that, right? And then you have the second order, which is kind of the next. It's a copy of a copy. So you might think of like,
picture of a coffee cup.
Like a coffee shop, logo or something like that. And then the third one is like the pure simulacrum. It's the copy of the copy of the copy without reference to an origin, which is a lot of the things that kind of govern how society thinks about things. So, yeah. But I thought about it a lot, and I feel like we are living in a simulation, just not in the way you might think. It's just that the universe has like simulative properties. So things happen that like follow a certain set of orders of conditions that and I mean, if you look at the way that like the military acts, they're all about simulating battle strategies and things like that. But it's almost like we're not living in a video game. It's rather that like we're living in the hardware. Like the universe itself is like a PlayStation rather than us living in the game. So like material reality literally exists, but it's more of like an organic simulation, if that makes sense.
Well, it sounds kind of like Don Hoffman's, like things exist, they don't exist the way we perceive them to.
Is it fiction or nonfiction? This book.
Simulations and Simulacrum.
Yeah.
I think he'd probably have a hard time. You'd have a hard time coming
describing
out of it. Knowing whether or not it's fiction or nonfiction. Part of the problem
is it a narrative story or is it just like his ideas?
It's his ideas. It's really thin, but it's also considered one of the hardest books to read. It's often rated in the top 10 hardest books. And like to truly understand Baudrillard, you pretty much have to read the whole lexicon of his stuff. I started reading this when I was like 15, so he's been labeled postmodernist, but
did he just like come to this like on his own, or is this based on anything? Or?
No, he came to it. He started just coming up and theorizing it all on his own.
Right. I mean, it's not based on like science. It's just like, I just have this idea. That's like
no. He's deeply rooted in the French intellectuals. He was influenced by Freud, Lacan, Foucault. But the one thing he does, interestingly, is that he basically takes all these thinkers, takes their ideas to their logical ends, and ends up kind of flipping them on their heads. Colloquially speaking.
Right.
So to me, he was kind of the guy who kind of red pilled me in a sense, ironically enough. He also talked a lot about clones and like what that will be in the future and the implications of that, and how in a way we already have clones. And you might say like the SJWs are kind of like clones of one another, not perfect clones, but like the more ideas they share and the way that they behave becomes more and more similar.
Right.
So in a sense, you could say that they're clones of one another, although I'm sure they wouldn't really like that.
Yeah.
They're the
And
NPCs.
then
Cool.
NPCs is like the perfect meme though, because
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like-
Yeah.
it's exactly what we're talking about the people who don't have free will. Like the simulation is populated with lots of NPCs. It really is.
Yep.
So I don't think we have free will. However, I don't think we have the free will to not act as if we did have free will. Like even
That's
people
fair.
who are
Yeah,
hard
that's-
determinists,
Mhm.
even if they say, "Oh, I like acknowledge, my knowledge tells me I don't have free will," they still have to go acting about in their day to day as if they did.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
right.
definitely.
Yeah, that's Sargon's argument, which I think is a very valid argument.
Yeah, and Sargon's right in the sense that like the importance of the argument of free will really comes down to culpability. Can't because in a real strong sense of like we have no free will, you'd say, oh, we can't punish people, we can't
Right,
punish them, it's not their
right.
fault. But that won't lead to a functional society. So we have to assume that they have
Yeah,
have
or at
free
least
will.
pretend like they're
Yeah, unless there's mitigating factors like
right.
schizophrenia or something like that.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, obviously, sure.
Yeah. I did, everyone's talking about this critical race theory shit, and man, is that scary. I mean, I worked for the government for a little while, and this was 2012, and they
Mhm.
already had a lot of that critical race theory.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Like what?
So this was AmeriCorps. It's not like an official government bureaucracy, but
Mhm.
like they just, they were already going on the line where they show us this big long documentary about scientific racism, and it's like, okay, this isn't no one's arguing for scientific racism right now, right?
Right.
And talking about how all this connects, and then they just do the kind of the privilege line kind of thing, or it's like, step
Right.
forward if you have this privilege or stuff like that. So it's unfortunate. I think most people who are labeled postmodernists aren't really postmodernists, because most of them most people have never actually read the original like quote unquote postmodernists.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess they're thought of as postmodernists just in terms of their rejection of. I mean, they're just using it to further their ideas. I don't think they really care
Yeah.
or believe in it.
No, they want that
Yeah.
power. What's the
Right.
matter with the game where if you have, two parents grew up, if you grew up with two parents in the household, take a step forward. I know that game well. Like there's videos on the internet about it. I don't necessarily know that from that game you would infer that racism exists everywhere and there's no way that you can avoid it. And
yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with that game in itself. It can show you like, hey, there's some discrepancy between you and literally the people in the back of the line, but it doesn't that doesn't really prove that like everything that happens in your life is going to be peachy keen and that we can just ignore your issue.
Right.
Sure.
I mean, that's
So-
the problem. That's why the woke shit's so pernicious, is because they bring up a concept like privilege, which you say, okay, there's merit to the idea. People should be aware of this. They should reflect on it, see how it affects their daily life. But then they twist it and distort it and be like, well, now we get to use this to guilt you into accepting our crazy ideas about everyone's racist and overthrow democracy, blah, 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 blah.
I reject the idea of privilege from an academic perspective, because I just don't think it's a good conceptual idea. Or ideas are only as good as they are useful, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of it comes down to really privilege is tied to this idea of exploitation. I'm sure you guys have heard of that, right? In the
Sure.
Marxist terms.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
the problem, is that it's they never present it that way, though. That's why that's so sneaky.
Yeah. Well, this again comes from Baudrillard. He said basically that there is no exploitation, there's domination. And his definition, or like what domination is that people in power come up with the rules of society and like how we are supposed to be, like, oh, I want to have money. Oh, I want to have wealth. I want to have status. And so everybody follows those rules. And whenever the threat comes up to like, oh, these people are actually catching up, they change what the rules are. So like you could say that it used to be that.
That's great.
Yeah. So it used to be that like, we only cared about being a CEO with a business suit and blah, 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 blah. But now it's changed to, oh, I need to be a progressive or something like that.
That's so true.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing I wanted to get to based like in the face of critical race theory is I think we need to put stuff into education that's not currently there right now. And I would include moral foundations theory.
Me too.
Like Jonathan Haidt.
Big time.
Game theory, like Brett Weinstein.
Probability.
And and probability.
Game
Yes, exactly.
game theory is like swimming in probability.
And civics. I mean, like honestly, like
Yeah.
the only civics is just non-existent in the public school system, to be
Civics
to be
is
honest.
there.
So,
That's the problem, because I think civics is changing. Like civics used to be, learning about American things, and now civics is. I'm worried more about, Howard Zinn's. We came over to oppress the natives, and Americans are all terrible people.
yeah.
Right.
I mean, why? This is kind of well. There's so much cynicism in politics, but this might be cynical. But I think politics should be really mostly about like what's best for most people.
I
And
agree.
so hyper focusing your platform on things that are, and this is going to again sound cynical, that only focus on 13% of the population, like Black, with African Americans, or like less than 1% of the population with the gay community.
Trans,
it's just like
same thing, even smaller percentage.
Yeah, it's like 0.01%. Yeah, and it's just like, why does that have to be the like that? Things are still getting shittier for the rest, like for everybody, So I mean, I wish that was the case. So
Common American identity. Throw all these other biological identities in the trash. Okay, we don't need.
Yeah. We need patriotic schooling, right, Sitch?
That's right.
Just what Trump
Patriotic
wants.
schooling. Yes.
Yeah, and
Anyways.
nationalism. I mean, come on.
And national. Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Those are dirty words.
Thanks, Nate.
Well, I had one last thing. Well, first of all, I was going to be team A team because I am a cold-hearted, blooded American until Adam broke the rules and got the stream knocked down.
I
and
know.
So
I'm deferring to S class at least for a week. I feel awful.
As an otaku, I've got to say now I'm S rank. But I wanted to recommend if you've never seen any of the works of Satoshi Kon, like Perfect Blue, Millennium Actress, Paranoid Agent.
Oh, I love Paranoid Agent. That's like one of my favorite animes.
Yeah, that's my favorite anime.
And that and Lane, those are two I've seen by him. Yeah.
God, yeah, Lane's good. Watch Perfect Blue. It's very predictive of what was going to happen with the internet. You will love it. All of his movies, 10 out of 10 each one. So
Adam would like them. They're all artsy fartsy.
Oh, they are very artsy fartsy, very cinematic, and they're mind fucks. So.
What is it? I missed it. I was typing in the chat.
Satoshi Kon.
Okay.
Watch Perfect Blue. Perfect Blue is the movie. Yeah.
I'll check it out.
So.
And Paranoid
All right, guys.
Agent, so.
I watched Paranoid Agent. I love Paranoid Agent.
Oh, okay, so there you go. You've seen.
Love you guys. Thank you so much for what you do. And again, get Louis on.
Sure.
We'll do it.
So
do it.
All right.
Great talking to you, man. Take care.
Take care. Take a rest. Take a rest. Take a rest.
Nathan.
Take a rest.
I guess when I type in the chat, they can't see me. Nathan Ravenstein. You're in the chat, but we don't have your name on the list from yesterday. What was the secret?
No, remember he was in the Discord the whole time yesterday.
Oh, I don't have him on the Discord list. I don't know.
Nathan Ravenstein? I remember.
Oh, you do? Okay, he's in.
Wait, let me look at the picture. Yeah, he's in the picture. Nathan Rave in the picture in the Discord.
Oh, there we go. Look, here he comes. Dun, dun, dun.
Take a rest.
Nathan. Welcome. 2 Nathans in a row. The simulation is speaking to me.
That's true. What's up, Nate? Oh, connecting the audio.
Hey, can you hear me?
Hey now. What's up?
Hey now.
What's up, my brother?
Yeah, not much. I'm actually coming back in time from the future just to let you know. A team has actually won the war.
I don't know. After boomering the stream, I don't think A team can win much at this point.
We lost the battle.
Yeah, they lost the battle.
I see. Gotcha. They win the war. Okay.
Yeah, and then and also the Trump debate is known as a fantastic event.
Oh,
you liked it?
Yeah, there we go. That's why I picked up a lot of A team over that Trump debate. I don't know what, just jump in with both feet. Enjoy it, Sitch. Everyone loves it. Sammy liked it. Sammy liked it a lot.
Pretty crap,
I
the
like
moderator.
I like Wallace.
the problem was that he wouldn't let them sort of like berate each other at all. I think that's kind of
That's
like
the literal point.
I
Why are we supposed to,
agree.
like,
I
not
agree
let them berate each other?
100%.
But the thing is, they were berating each other over issues that like their political sphere cares about, right?
Well, they were
Like
just kind of
it's what
interrupting
both
each other.
partisan sides have made a big deal out of.
Yes. They were talking
Yeah.
about things people care about. They weren't it wasn't just ad hominem. They were actually talking about real issues, which I thought was great.
The problem wasn't that they're berating. The problem was just that every 5 seconds, one of them would interrupt the other one. Or, Trump was doing a lot of the interrupting. So it was impossible for most people to even hear what was being said. That was the issue.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
like,
I
that's why I
agree
tweeted out. I said, I'm getting Vosh versus Sargon flashbacks, because it's exactly what it felt like.
Yeah, I watched that debate with my wife, and my wife just like kept telling me, just turn that shit off.
Oh,
It's
really?
so annoying. Mainly Vosh, but yeah. So I also wanted to talk about the idea of reparations and the welfare state. So I'm Australian. I'm a teacher, and so I can also sort of like comment on that last conversation you had with Nate about what we're teaching in classes and stuff. And I would say that like America and Australia is very similar in our curriculum, in the sense that we're both in early stages of implementing indoctrination.
Great.
Yeah, but so I'm an alternative teacher, which means that I've been teaching at kind of like a bit more of a weird sort of school each school I've been at, and I was in a school in the center of Australia, right? Called well, I'm not going to like the center of Australia is a town called Alice Springs, right? And this is like known to be a place where all of our Aboriginal people have sort of like accumulated, and well, where they're situated in the country. And so I had a school where we had 100% boarding students that were all Aboriginal, and they all came from families that more or less they were reliant on government subsidies. The families weren't working, and they had all of the kids had severe trauma through growing up with very patriarchal, traditional kind of environments. Right. And I guess the way that I saw like welfare affecting their lives, it was very much like a demotivator for for them. They weren't creating strong values and work ethics, and the kids more or less realized, well, I don't need to get an education because I'm going to be looked after by the state. They wouldn't even be able to articulate exactly how everything would happen for them, because they just didn't even care about education. Yeah, but so I know there's going to be a lot of differences between the people who would be reliant on welfare in Australia and America, but yeah, I also saw a lot of family violence in those communities, and I think that that's something that they have in common, is that with anywhere where they have a strong focus on welfare, they've replaced the need for cohesion in the family unit.
Right.
Yeah. Do you have any ideas or thoughts about that?
I mean, isn't that Thomas Sowell's argument, Adam, that welfare replaces the need for strong families, and that's why there's such bad marriage rates in the lower income Black community.
Yeah, they end up marrying the state because the state makes more money. That gives them more freedom.
I mean, I think I totally agree. I do think that just giving people money and welfare can definitely just create this drain on motivation. People, why are they going to try, right? I definitely think there needs to be consequences for people, for most people to be motivated. I
Yeah.
guess I'm thinking there has to be some way to create certain types of welfare programs for people that doesn't just put them in a rut, that doesn't put them in a hole. There has to be some way to do this.
Yeah,
I don't know what the answer is.
Watching the debates over in America, I definitely kind of gravitated towards Andrew Yang and his UBI.
Right.
And I thought, well, as long as they have certain concessions when they implement it, it could be a useful tool. But I have a lot of concerns about it as well. Coming from a poor family here, I had what we call Centrelink, and it's a bit of a meme here, but it is kind of like our family assistance funding. And so if your family doesn't make enough money, the kids would be allocated a certain amount of money for sort of like what they would need to stay afloat.
Right.
And I remember you couldn't work a certain amount because if you worked too much, then you'd get less family assistance.
Yeah,
so
right,
you could
right,
kind of
right.
find the balance. And
Right.
I'd always find the balance, but then I would end out being very, I guess I was being a bit of an idiot with my money, and I'd spend it on being young and a bit chaotic and stuff like that, doing
Poor as an ale, yes.
yeah, more or less, but not quite. Yeah, but so I guess one thing that we struggled with in Alice Springs is we'd drive down the road and we'd just see like people like lying on the ground. We saw this one lady, and we had just had our son. And we're like, oh, don't look, but she just like was lying on the ground, completely naked, drunk at like 11 o'clock in the afternoon. And this is like the only town it's like the third biggest town in the state with 30,000 people. It's a very small state compared to other states. But so like this is one of the main towns, and the cops more or less had no ability to control the populace because the social systems kind of like meant that there was too much pressure and too much racial divide and stuff like that. In fact, it's one of the main places where we've had a Black Lives Matter movement is in Alice Springs. Yeah, there was I think I super chatted you a couple months ago about an incident where like there was like a black Aboriginal dude who had broke parole, and he was going to get arrested, and he stabbed a police officer twice with some scissors, so they actually shot him. But the stabbing was actually pretty severe. And
people were protesting that they shot a guy who stabbed a police officer.
Yeah, and so they protested it. It's a thing though. Like they have the worst martyrs, right?
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah. And so like I guess one thing that we need to work out as a society is kind of like at what point do we be compassionate and think, well, money is going to pull people out of the situation, and then at what point are we being too generous and expecting them to make good use of the money? I guess one reason that they would think that's okay is that, well, if they're wasting the money, at least it's going back into the economy, which is then going to eventually get back to the government anyway, to some extent. But,
right.
Yeah.
No, I mean, yeah, and I think the UBI does solve the issue. Like you said, the first thing you said, which is that it solves the issue of you like saying, oh, I can't work, X number of hours because then I won't get my, check from the government, which is a big problem. I mean, I've had friends in the exact same situation where they're like, oh, well, if I want to, I want to work X number of hours, or I want to work this other job, but if I do, I'll actually get less money. And, you don't want to ever, the government just shouldn't ever be disincentivizing, work and stuff like that.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, so for example, these these cards that they give out to people, which essentially is how they can pay their way through.
Mhm.
They've actually put restrictions on them, so you can only use them at certain grocery stores or whatever.
Right.
But so what they do is they would work a little bit, and then they just put the money that they would use for working into the luxury goods, or
Right.
yeah, and then they just still be able to maintain the pretty non-responsible, irresponsible lifestyle.
Hmm.
Yeah, I had like one student, like he was my favorite student at the school, and he was such a lively kid. He'd dance around a lot. I used to let him read in the cupboards at the school, just because it's very much like it's like a do you feel comfortable to learn kind of environment.
Right.
Because they're dealing with so much trauma. But so this one kid, I just like let him read wherever he wanted during our reading time, and he'd be inside these cupboards and stuff. But there was this incident where like later on, he had his I put a lot of work into him, tried to have him grow up to be like a very to try and beat the stereotype almost.
Hmm.
But so his mum at one point just decided she'd had enough, and she ran over his dad.
Oh my God.
And so he died, and she went to jail, and just like that, one kid's trajectory is just like completely shot.
Mhm.
And I saw him kind of like deteriorate over time. Like his happiness never returned and stuff, and it's just kind of like what they can deal with in these environments, and they're trapped because they just get shoved onto their family members who feel like they're burdening them.
Right. Right.
The idea with
Yeah.
UBI though is you have like a carrot you can take away, because like if you're naked in the street at 11 a.m., you take that girl's UBI away.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Yeah, that's a good point. Like it's an incentive for
Yeah, you
correct
don't want to pay him to
behavior.
be drunk in the street naked, for
Right.
heaven's sake. So it's like at least you have
Yeah.
that carrot that you can take away, because then your first move is incarceration. Like if you're not paying them UBI, you can't take the UBI
Okay,
away.
but yeah, that's a great point, Adam. But you see, we had a serious problem in Alice Springs where we had a lot of break-ins,
Mhm.
right? They just wouldn't stop breaking into the prisons.
What do you mean
Yeah.
breaking into the prison? What do you mean?
Yeah, what is
They
that?
wanted to go into the prison.
Oh, because then they'll
Because
be like get food.
It
and-
provided them food, shelter. They
Yeah,
had
so
lots of
if they
family in the prisons.
Exactly.
Oh my
So if
God,
you're
this is so crazy.
if you're
Yeah.
in a situation where your whole family's out on UBI already, like what's the point? Like just at least
Well,
pay
I
your
feel
rent.
like right, but I feel like Australia has a very unique situation compared to America and probably other countries.
Yeah, we do. Like one thing that most of our countries all have in common is this narrative that we, as a civilization, as the West, have suppressed our traditional and native
Mhm.
partners, right? And so
Right.
we had what is called the stolen generation, where a lot of our ancestors had taken the kids away from their families because of X or Y reasons, and wanted to assimilate them into society. But then the narrative is, well, they were trying to breed the blackout, right?
What happened to those kids?
Eventually, they got returned. A lot of them got returned. A lot of them probably didn't quite make it, but they were, and then some of them were probably already in families and stuff. But I guess there was like a lot of pain there. But at the
Right.
same time, like you gotta wonder how much of this is also the famous narrative that's plaguing the West, right? Which is everything is done through the lens of trying to oppress people or trying to say that your way is the wrong way. But from my perspective, I see all this family violence that isn't being addressed now.
Right.
And if it wasn't being addressed now, and it was there before, then I can see reasons why people would take their kids away from other people. Now, I'm not advocating for stolen generation at all, but like my own sister is a foster child, where her parents essentially had very low mental capacity, and it's a miracle that they found out how to have kids, let alone 3. And they'd have them like crawling around on the ground, like without nappies on, and drinking beer and stuff like that. And essentially, we got this girl from the age of 5, and she was already completely gone, where she wouldn't be able to fit into society at all. And now, from an Australian tax perspective, she's costing the government $200,000 a year on wages, social working wages, and assistance, which is just absolutely insane. And the government pays it, and the people don't really even know, right? Like,
I mean,
yeah.
I think multiculturalism is such a toxic idea. Or maybe you can't give it like a blanket statement. Maybe it's very relative to each culture, because it seems like the people that succeed the most in these situations are the people that just say kind of like fuck it, and they just assimilate, and that's where they find success. And it seems like just if you're holding on to a culture or an idea that's failing your family, then you know how it's like it's the definition of insanity. You know, doing the same thing and expecting different results. If you're holding on to a culture, an idea that's failing your family and the people people before your parents, then you're just setting yourself up for failure. And at one point, you just have to say fuck it. You just got to move on and assimilate into what works.
There's this Australian politician. She's like an MP, and I think her name's Jacinta Price, but she's an Aboriginal woman who is widely, like I would say, widely hated by her own people, being Aboriginal people, because she has like this opinion that, like, you know, the white people aren't, they're not trying to oppress us, but they're trying to give us a different way, and that we could embrace the values and still maintain our culture and our history, but not have it shackle them down, which is like exactly what you would need to believe to be considered a race traitor these days.
Yeah, it's sad. It's really sad.
Yeah. Yeah, but so
Well,
I guess
cool.
I've been thinking about how to teach people in a way where they can discover the truth, but hear all sides and stuff like that. I'm no longer in Alice Springs because we had our first kid, and we just found that we were too isolated there. So we've moved back to a city, and now I'm at a different school. I had a school where I was holding my students' kids. She was only about 5 years younger than me, because I'm still a fairly new teacher. But she'd gone back to school after having kids, and she had 3 kids at 23, and I was teaching her HSC while holding her kid. It's like full on different type of education.
Right.
But yeah, it's
well,
interesting.
Cool. I mean, thanks, Nathan. That was dark but interesting experience.
UBI is coming. Like UBI has entered the consciousness, and I can't imagine. Like a lot of people against UBI don't seem to be arguing the fact that it's here to solve a problem. Like we're going to come to a point where there's not enough dumb jobs to sustain the people who need them, and so it's eventually it's gonna become a reality, and like we're becoming more and more efficient, where it really is just we have the money kind of lying around anyway. So
and with Australia, we have such a high amount of money going to social programs.
Yes,
you wonder
totally.
how much benefit it would be if you put the power into the hands of the people and said, well, what are you going to create to pull yourself out?
Yeah.
But I don't know if everyone has that same creative kind of capacity.
I don't
right?
either,
Like,
but they're breaking into jails just so they can be fed. Like, why can't they just like? I'm serious.
I think that they need to be properly nourished before they can actually embrace a system like UBI, though, right?
Yang talks about this. Yang talks about you're basically paying people. He says you spend about $100,000 a year on an inmate, an incarcerated inmate. Like, why are you doing that? Why don't you just pay people $12,000 a year to stay out of jail?
Yeah, I had another idea that I wanted to talk to you guys about.
Well, we're
like
going super late, and I have to be out in like 30 minutes, and we still haven't read super chats, so I think we should dive into super chats.
Okay, no worries. Thanks, guys, for the chat.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for sharing with us, man. That was awesome. Good luck with the teaching gig. Take care, man.
Yeah, thanks. I'll need it. Bye.
That's true.
Stay out of the street naked.
Yeah. Okay. Is that it?
We have two more people. If we can get through super chats, if there's time, we'll do one more. T and you, I can't, is not in the chat, and the other guy is Jared. He's not on the list, but he says he was there yesterday, so we'll let Jared in if there's time.
Okay, let me go through these quickly as we can. Nathan Gordon for £4.99 says, what do you guys think about Joe Biden calling Kyle Rittenhouse a white supremacist on Twitter? So he didn't. I was really close. I saw the picture. I was about to really throw down on Joe Biden. He didn't call him a white supremacist. He made a commercial on Trump's white supremacist blunder. And when they talked about when Chris Wallace said Kenosha, they flashed the picture of Kyle Rittenhouse with the gun. I really don't like that. If Joe Biden or someone else comes out hard against Kyle Rittenhouse, it would make me have trouble supporting him.
I already tweeted out. So I was like, I won't vote for Joe Biden in a million years.
Yeah, if he goes on that train, that's gotta be difficult for me to deal with.
Well, it was enough for me just that he was in the video. So
yeah, I don't like that he was in the video. That's really bad. It's really shitty. Creeping Pence for $2. All hail me, God Emperor Pence. Physicality Channel $5 says, Proud Boys protected our rallies from Antifa attacks, and one of them barged in when Antifa was attacking me and helped me. They're good people. General Disarray for $5 says, if you don't have guns and ammo now, you won't have it at all. Prepare now. Creeping Pence for another $5 says, how do you square common humanity politics with black people who are proud to be black and want you to see them as black? So that's part of the reason why I think critical race theory is so destructive, is because it is critical race theory is against creating colorblind society. It thinks that it's actually in favor. It's so funny. The guy who created critical race theory is in favor of racial realism. I think he even calls it. He doesn't call it race realism. He calls it racial realism, and it's all about we need to accept that we're black or white or whatever, and then we need to incorporate this identity as part of our politics. And that's part of the toxicity of critical race theory, is that it literally just breeds division in our country. It can't possibly breed unity. So
yeah,
it sucks. The Reckoning for $5 Aussies says, could you please cover the New Jersey article, Zionist group plan multi-front assault on free speech over Zoom? Holy shit. What a headline. Wait, let me Google this real quick. I have no clue what the fuck that's about, but I'll look into it. Van Getterix for $5 says, who's more insufferable, incels or commies? Commies
by a mile.
Yeah. Are defeatism and not my faultism fallacies? Will we ever hear from Michael Monroe again? He's S-class. Well, if he's S-class, we have to hear from him again, obviously. I would always be down to talk to Michael.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, he's the debate guy, right?
Yeah, he was the guy, the debate guy.
I'm down to talk to him anytime. Yeah, definitely.
Reckoning for $2 dingo says, could you please cover the Lavon affair sometime? Lavon affair. What's that about? Let me see. Lavon affair is a failed Israeli corporate op, codename Operation Susan, conducted in Egypt in 1954. Part of a false flag, a group of Egyptian Jews recruited by the Israeli military to plant bombs inside Egypt, American and British-owned civilian targets. Jesus Christ. Damn, Israel, you need to chill the fuck out. At least in 1954, you have to chill the fuck out. Alex Karras for $5 says, Adam, can you put a link in the chat for where you can buy the amazing shirts? You did that.
Done.
Gemini Semini for $2 says, Adam is awesome. Praying mantises are cool. Gemini likes your praying mantises.
Of course they are.
Reckoning for $2. Ozzy says, debunk video why centrists can't win the woke wars.
Oh, that
Wait,
sounds like something
That's a
we
video.
wanted
Like,
to.
that sounds like a video to look at.
centrist.
Why centrists can't win the woke wars. 5 days ago. I'll definitely check that out. That's interesting. The NREB for £5 says, A team is Homer Simpson. S class is Marge Simpson. Between both halves of these brains, there's an equilibrium called enlightened centrism. There you go.
That's
like
it. On the drug side of the
Spartan
brain.
Yes. Hobbit Spartan for $5 says, Bilbo told me to give you a 5 spot. Thank you, Hobbit. The NREB says, oh yeah, we talked that one. The NREB says free will. Sargon ? I guess not a Sargon fan. Fake name for $5 says, this is why I only smoke organic crack. There you go.
Ooh, there's
Thunderson-
organic crack? I gotta.
Yeah, you don't want you got to make sure you get your crack, free range sourced, Adam. You don't want any pesticides or anything in it.
Definitely.
Thunderson for 4228 says, were the ancient Egyptians fat because of bread? Were the ancient Egyptians fat? Is that a thing? I've never heard of this before. I think there's a big concept that like the bread that people used to eat hundreds and thousands of years ago is so different than the bread we eat now. This like kind of processed white shit that we call bread. At least that's what I've heard. That's the narrative. I don't know if it's true or not, but Mr. Dolphin $5 says, thanks for the chat, guys. Mike threw me for a loop. You're welcome, Mr. Dolphin. Glad to have you on. The NREB for £5 says, can you show me where on the doll Donald Trump hurt you? Pronounce hurt as hurt, like Jon Stewart versus Tucker to generate normie gut responses. Jon Stewart versus Tucker was a classic. Do you remember that, Adam?
Jon Stewart versus Tucker Carlson? I don't.
You never saw that? Jon Stewart when he was on Crossfire? Oh my God. It was, who was the other guy with Tucker? It was Tucker and, I'm confused. No, wait, I'm confusing this with someone else, right?
Yes, I'm
think I'm
obviously
confusing
looking up. Oh, look.
Or-
Comes right up. Jon Stewart versus Tucker.
No, this was Tucker. Yeah. Who was the other guy on Crossfire? Do you
Oh, yeah, this is the Crossfire.
That's some
one.
other guy, whatever. But he goes on Crossfire. He just totally eviscerates both of the people. Talks about how much they suck at their job. It's
Yeah.
pretty
I'm
crazy.
I'm on a show that is after puppets. I remember one line.
Yeah, that was it. That's it. Because they would keep asking him, well, why don't you do this? And he's like, I'm on a joke
Yeah,
show.
I'm on a comedy. This
Right.
this is where I get my constantly saying I'm a fucking comedy writer.
Exactly.
What
You're
the
like,
fuck
it worked
do you
for,
want?
Though it was always a bullshit argument, I felt like, when he would give that argument. I always thought that was a bullshit argument. Because lots of people would get their news only from The Daily Show. So...
True.
Eric Anderson, $5 says, in terms of evolution, we've had access to reliable food for no time at all. Being able to go without food really just makes sense. That does make sense. JMC for $4.99 says, what about abolishing income tax and moving to a consumption and land tax only, increase tax on goods, and let poor people take home all their money? Wasn't that part of Andrew Yang's thing? They want to move more to consumption tax?
Yes. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
I don't know. Be interesting. I mean, technically, poor people don't really pay much income tax anyway, as it is.
Do you
So-
think Donald Trump would pass something like UBI?
No, never.
Really? I mean, he's a populist.
Republican Party would never go along with that.
Trump.
Well, okay, let me
Trump
go
is
back up.
willing to buck his
It's
party.
possible. Are you saying if it's on his desk, would he sign it? Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah, sure. Or if,
Yeah, maybe-
if someone
yeah, maybe
convinced him it
Trump,
was
right.
what we needed, like if
Right. Trump might pass it because I don't think Trump is motivated by ideology like at all.
Right.
So yeah, I don't. If he thought it would help him, if he thought the country was a favorite, he would pass it. I don't think a Republican-controlled Congress would ever pass UBI.
Let's say first, uh, like first year Trump is in office. Let's say he wins election, and self-driving cars become a reality like instantly, and there's 8 million truckers out of work, exactly like Yang calls it. Would Trump be the guy to give some sort of UBI? It seems like he would, because he's like raining down money
you
for
keep saying Trump.
coronavirus.
He's the president. He's not creating legislation, so I don't know what you mean.
Right, but he'd be an advocate for it.
You think? I don't think Trump would be an advocate for UBI before anyone else would be.
Right.
No.
Okay.
I think if it was on his desk, he would pass it. I don't think he would push for it, though. Chris Jones for $5 says, "Gotta go. Hopefully next time." We probably won't do this next week, but we might do it the week after. Maybe we'll do it like every 2 weeks or something, and we'll do something like, you know, the first 20 people or something. We'll have to do it a little bit more organized than we did it this time.
Yeah, we can't. We will. I mean, I don't. It's 10 minutes. It's just so hard. People want to go on much longer than 10 minutes.
Right.
So
that's what I'm saying. It might be better to just limit the amount of people as opposed to limit the time limit.
Right.
So
yeah.
Mr. Dolphin for $5 says, "Adam, I just watched your video on your run-in with Darth Dawkins. I actually think you did the best job of dismantling his argument I've ever seen. Bravo."
I snuck attacked him. He didn't even know. And not only that, I didn't take a victory lap after I won. I was like, no, I think that's good. I think we're good here.
Right.
And then I made a video. I quickly made a video and saying exactly what he agreed to.
Well, it's funny. And I think you did so well because very few people argue morality in evolutionary terms like you do. So
Totally.
He obviously never heard that argument and didn't understand what he was walking into. So
yeah.
Hamid Rodriguez Medrano for $2 says, "That Peterson impression, love it." Yeah, it was a great Peterson impression. That was spot on.
Very good.
Milk Dan for $5 Aussie says, five free will points, please.
Done.
You get your. We're gonna take 5 points away from Adam for fucking the stream up, and we're gonna give him straight.
Oh
to
my
you, okay?
God, that was so not free will. I don't even know what the fuck I was thinking. I don't know what I was thinking. Like, God, my brain was just off. Totally off.
Totally. Yep. You're proving that you didn't have. You're proving SSC that you didn't have free will. So there you go.
Oh my God, what a stupid.
Keith
mistake.
Rhymes for $5 says, "Last Sunday stream, I said go A team, but Sitch reads my rhymes in rhythm sometimes. So I'd like you to know I appreciate the effort you go to capture the flow of my hasty scribblings without any quibblings. S-Class is great. Best sidekick to date." Oh, he just had to snake the sidekick.
Oh my God.
Wow, Keith.
After you did such a brilliant job reading that too. Oh man,
So
that's
brutal.
painful.
So brutal. Why am I MAGA for $1 says, "Sitch, are you really voting for Biden? Let me on. I'll turn you into MAGA, Sitch." Yeah, I seriously doubt it. MAGGA, the middle way is the Buddhist middle path, aka the Eightfold Path is the fourth noble truth. What is American suffering from? The dwindling of the middle class, aka centrism. I mean, I agree that America's suffering is from the dwindling of the middle class, but I don't see how Trump is going to solve that problem.
I'm curious. Would it be physically possible for you to vote for Trump? I could care less if you vote for Trump. Like I said, I'm voting for Kanye, so I don't really have a dog in this fight.
Of course, it would be. Of course, it could be physically possible. I just don't foresee the things that would be required to happen.
Okay.
Paradox for $1 says, "Did you make time in your schedule to read today's super chats?" Yes. Paradox for $3 says, "Sitch is wrong about standby. Watch the whole segment. He clearly talks about U.S. Marshals and federal measures to deal with Antifa. In context, he means future president should deal with Antifa. Sitch chose to ignore 10 seconds he doesn't like. Love ya." No, I didn't. Well, Adam actually agreed with me, so no. We're both united against this paradox.
United against what? What did I agree to? Yeah, don't worry. I don't need to know what it is. I condemn it.
The stand down, stand by. Some people were trying to argue that Trump didn't mean stand by, like stand by and be ready for the Proud Boys to be ready to attack Antifa. Paradox thinks he meant stand by like the next president will deal with Antifa, which doesn't make any sense to me, but whatever. Why am I a proud boy for $1 says Sitch? I'm a proud boy. I'm not a tradcon. I'm a radical centrist. Oh, well, there you go. I think all women should be fired. Oh shit. I think all women should be fired and forced to make OnlyFans and Twitch accounts. Companies should only be made up of men to prevent the beta incels from going on mass shootings because they're horny. There you go.
That's why they
Thank
do
you.
go on mass shootings, though, because
There
they're
you go.
horny.
Yeah. Thank you, Sober. I'm assuming that was you. Paradox for $1 says, holy shit, Trump or Melania admitted to Walter Reed National Military Medical Center. Ooh.
What?
Yeah.
Really? I think I saw something about a flash mob of Trump supporters were outside a hospital, and I guess that's what it was about.
I saw it briefly. I don't know if it's true. Some headline was someone was claiming from an anonymous White House source something that
So
Trump was
could
having
be.
trouble breathing, which I assume that's what happens when you have coronavirus. So it shouldn't be that surprising.
I better look this up.
Caleb Black for $1 says, hey, Sitch, have you seen Legend of Korra? And if you have, do you have one of the two major opinions that everyone has about it? So Legend of Korra is why I found ER's channel. Yes, I have the correct opinion that Korra is shit, and Korra was always shit from the beginning, and it never got better. Actually, I have such strong feelings about Korra that I am super tempted to one day make a video about it. But it feels like it's so far away in the past that I don't know. If
Isn't that Jordan Peterson's thing? Quora?
No, what?
Oh,
You making a joke?
I thought we were talking about Quora. What's Quora?
Legend of Korra. It's the
Okay.
animated sequel to Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is a good show.
Trump taken to Walter Reed Medical Center and will be hospitalized for the next few days. 2 hours ago, CNN. Trump arrives at Walter Reed Hospital after COVID-19 diagnosis 5 hours ago. The history of Walter Reed, where Trump's is being treated for COVID. What? The history of Walter Reed? Okay, thanks, guys.
Yeah, that just means they have no information, but they got to pad out the.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. No, but anyway, I think there's lots of important writing lessons that can be learned from Avatar and Legend of Korra. And to me, Legend of Korra is literally the same as the Star Wars prequels. You have creators of a universe who it turns out weren't really the brainchilds making their story work. And when they get too egotistical and they get too much power, it just shows that their inability to write story and everything just falls apart. So Paradox $1 says, apparently Alex Jones just announced on air flying immediately to DC to support the president. This is secondhand information, but big if true. Paradox $1 says, if you can't put down the cupcake because it's deterministic that you crave it, how do you even put patients on any diet like keto to transition them? This is why we say you can't draw aught from is and metaphysical claims from physical claims. Sitch and Friended got destroyed in diet debate. Absolute 30 minutes of constant evisceration. There were too much women respecters to even interrupt. Rip. Now watch CT and Zoe tear her a new a-hole.
Oh my God.
I don't know how we got destroyed. I think I agreed with everything she said. And I said it was funny. It was funny that she was literally saying all the things that my doctor literally said too. So
what's wrong with women respect? What's going on here?
I don't know. Who knows? Paradox for $1 says, by the way, I think Adam might be right about Biden being woke or held hostage by the woke. He literally said he wants to fight for diversity, equality, and equity. He did say equity. I caught that in debate.
Yeah, that was cringe. Oh my God. Yeah. I was like, he's been captured, mind captured.
He did say equity. Yeah, I didn't like that. He, much like Wallace, is being parasitized by the woke terminology. The media will divide on defending Biden against the socialists. You forget the media and tech are full of woke and communists. What's the percentage? Same as the difference between votes for Biden and Bernie. Yeah, but here's the thing. Media hated Bernie. Remember that? Journalists and media hated Bernie.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
That's the interesting ripple I don't think is being accounted for.
Maybe they aren't as woke as we think they are.
That's why I'm saying I don't think the media is as woke as people think they are. I think a lot of it's cynicism.
It's funny that we're trying to figure all this out. Like we're trying to be the sense-making machine that the fucking news is supposed to be.
Right. I think the media has a terminal case of TDS.
It's true.
And I think that really just guides all their actions.
Yeah.
Because Trump winning was basically the destruction of the narrative that the media knew what was going on. Because they kept saying Trump can't win. Trump's not going to win.
Oh, yeah.
And he won not only despite them saying that he wasn't going to win, but he won despite them all saying that Trump was terrible. So it also showed that they don't really have power or control. So
Yeah, scary.
Paradox One says Richard Spencer said he was not for free speech. I remember that. I'm not sure how liberal the value is today, but he is against it. I can think of, and then he says for now $1, I can think of creative ways the sitch sandwich can be graphically immortalized. I'm glad. See, that's the thing. I guess it was a good thing now that
One
the stream was
offhanded
lost forever.
Yeah,
Have lost the Amazon shit sandwich conversation forever.
Someone
So,
would clip that out, you know.
there you go. Silver lining. I know what S and S class stands for now. Seriously, no, don't eat in the bathroom. Yeah, eating in the bathroom is disgusting. Jesus Christ. That's how you get nasty diseases. You just got done talking about gut health. Yes, please, no one actually eat in the bathroom. That is gross. That was totally a joke. Gemini 794 says, what happened? I was asleep. Adam apparently also fell asleep and destroyed the stream. That's what happened. Gemini 79 for $5 says, after Sitch's dumb comments earlier, I was solid A team, but now that Adam has boomer too far, I don't know. I might have to abandon the A team.
Totally justified. Completely justified.
King Dance Killer, aka Dingus McBingus, for $9.99 says, I found Sitch first, but as an enlightened centrist, watching Adam grow from a boomer to a Carmageddon playing harmonica slang Chad makes me so proud. I've gone from A-team conscript to colonel. There you go. You got a convert, Adam.
Nice. I like it.
Lieutenant Ansel $5 says, you fool! You think I won't do it? Do you forget that I am an artist? I didn't forget. Oh, Jesus. Don't do it, Amazon. Don't do it.
Shit
Are you going to edit and
sandwich is
re-upload the
so...
last stream, Landorf just asked chat? I would, but here's the problem. I literally cannot access the last stream. It's not even on my YouTube channel. It doesn't exist.
It might exist. It might come back. That's another silver lining as we learn a valuable lesson here.
Yeah, I will see if I can contact YouTube, or I'll make Adam see if he can contact
Really?
YouTube since it's his fault, and see if there's some way to get the stream back and edit out the copyright material because it just doesn't even exist.
I
on
don't
the
even
channel at
think
the
I
moment,
shared
so.
a link of it, to be honest with you. I don't even know if I
Shared
have
a
a
link of
link to
what?
that old stream. Oh, look, it's right here. It's like the 3 dots. This video has been removed for violating YouTube's terms
Yeah,
of
yeah,
service.
exactly. Yeah, which is weird because usually, I mean, I've never had the time of the live stream, but the normal video, it still exists. So you can still click it and you can watch it as an account owner, but this I can't even see. But look, we'll see. Maybe there's some way to get it back. King Dance Killer, aka Dingus McBingus for $4.99 says, all right, I'm gonna head out. Love you guys. I hope you all and the guests have fun. Thank you. The Unknown Otaku for Joe says, welfare, bring me on. We're tired. We're tired. We'll do this. We'll start doing this semi-regularly.
We had another interesting thing going on in the chat that I was kind of cursorily watching.
Mm-hmm.
Did you catch any of that?
About what?
I think his name was Extreme Dad. He wanted to come on and talk to us about Vosh or something like that.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I'm super beat.
But,
maybe another time.
Yeah. Time Riff for $5 says, which VTuber is the best? Sitch and Adam. Is simping for anime girls more acceptable? I actually don't watch any VTubers, so I have to talk to Zara. Zara is apparently talking about making a Sitch puppet, so maybe I'll be the best VTuber. The Unknown Talkie for $2 says, Adam, I'll get you out of this UBI thing.
Yeah, I saw that.
There you go. We'll talk.
The only way that I would we don't have enough information. That's why you can't talk your way out of the UBI thing. You need to literally do the fucking experiment. Like, you don't know. There's too many factors. There's 300 million Americans. You don't know how many are going to end up naked in the street drunk at 11 a.m. We need to know. Pig might be hot.
Gemini Semi for $2 says, Sitch doesn't understand party politics at all. How dare you, sir? How dare you? You think the Republicans are going to pass UBI? I don't fucking see that ever happening. Jesus. Rahan Gironde for 200 rubles, or not rubles. That's rupees, right? Which is, I always confuse rubies with rubles. Rupee. That's a rupee, I guess. Thank you for 200 rupees. Johnny Stoffel for 199 says, is attendance required or is this enough for free will? No, just your money. Just your money, Johnny. Thank you. You now have free will for the week.
They're
Thank you.
saying nothing given has value, Adam. That's not true. I remember one time I was hiking and I was dying of thirst. And I found 2 sodas. Is it sodas that you hate or pop? 2 pops.
Oh my, see, he doesn't even remember.
It was 2, what were they? Oh my God. They were the cheap brand of soda too, like the generic brand, but they were right there in the stream and they were ice cold. And I was like, yes, this is so perfect. This is exactly what I want right now. Totally free. Loved it. Had amazing value. So you're wrong.
I think your super chat has lots of value, Johnny. So.
Oh, it was
Tons of
Mr. Burple who says nothing given as value.
Yeah, no, yeah, we're saying your super chat does have value, Johnny.
Oh yeah, the super chats definitely have value.
Definitely. Kolovar for $5 says the Emperor favors Adam today as he is not a soda fascist. A team is the best team. We got some poppers in the popper fans in the chat. Ugh, some poppers. Some lesser race poppers. Disgusting. Seamus McBride for $5 says you should have actual Justice Warrior on. Sure. That'd be cool. Dr. Sean.
Yeah, love to.
Gemini 795 says, Sitch, let's depend on a bunch of old, out-of-touch, corrupt, self-interested boomers to fight the woke side of their own supporters. Hey, the plan to have the right do it is very silly, Gemini. Okay? It's not going to work. It's not going to work. I'm just telling you. It's not going to work. The Unknown Taki for $2 says, I know because my ideas factor in way more stuff. Oh, he's calling you out, Adam. He said you're simple-minded.
You could be right. I don't know. But you never know the factor that you don't know. That's the problem.
That's true. You don't know what you don't know. Gemini 79 for $5 says, until woke people do something so horrible that no one can support them, politicians have no reason to go after them. By then it will be too late.
Gemini
I disagree. The politicians will have a reason to go after them when they feel threatened by them. All politicians care about at the end of the day is keeping their own political power. And the woke left are going to try to primary the fuck out of the Democrats. So, I mean, remember, critical race theory literally is against incrementalism. It's against, having these milquetoast centrist Democrats try to have incremental changes. So
I'm going to go way out on a limb and do a Scott Adams style, like just total haymaker prediction.
Total crazy prediction. Okay, let's hear it.
Donald Trump.
Yes.
Donald Trump is going to recover from the coronavirus, and he's going to be like a god emperor. He's totally going to win re-election. It's going to be impossible to stop him. He's going to win by 50 states. Okay. He's going to have this tremendous mandate. He's going to feel like, I am king of America. Self-driving cars are going to come in about 2 years into his term. And 8 million Americans or whatever Andrew Yang says are going to be out of work. Truck drivers immediately out of work, destitute, hungry for UBI. And Donald Trump is going to push UBI through. Donald Trump is going to be the UBI president. All those who do you think those 8 million truckers are voting for, Sitch? You think they're voting for Biden? They're not voting for Biden. Fuck Biden.
So I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna make Scott Adams prediction too. Okay, it's gonna be okay. So guys, remember this. This is me and Adam's big predictions here. Okay. This is the S class versus the 18 predictions. Okay. Here's my big prediction. Everything Adam said will not happen and is wrong.
That's it. That's not a haymaker prediction. You got come on.
That's my prediction. I just $1 you on Price is Right. That's what
you totally did. You totally $1'd me. That's hilarious. Are you kidding? Come on, mine tells a story. Mine has like a first act, a second act, and a third act.
Yep.
Come on.
Yep. And
Donald Trump will not be able to pass UBI unless he wins 50 states. Okay, he has to survive coronavirus.
That's true.
We're at step 1 right now. Come on.
That's true.
Superman doesn't die.
He does die. He's just reborn. So
Okay.
it's funny. Actually, it's so weird. Jack Posobiec tweeted out like, what's the guy's name? Who the Hero Journeys guy? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, Hero with 1,000 Faces. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
yeah.
his name.
He's like, oh, this is the third act, and we all know from the Hero's Journey guy that like Trump's gonna like pull through. And I'm like,
I'm
first of all, that's
sad
not-
he's in the hospital right now. Jeez,
Right, but I'm
that's
like,
not a
okay,
good.
well-
That's not a good sign.
I'm like, that's not a good. First of all, I don't think Donald Trump's gonna die, but I wouldn't compare him to the Hero's Journey, which oftentimes involves literal death and
And
reincarnation.
rebirth. Yeah,
The rebirth. So, yeah, so I don't know.
the all is
I think,
lost
but I don't
moment is
think
coming.
he's gonna die. I think you're right. I think he'll come back. I think he'll be okay.
If he dies, Pence is going to pass UBI in his stead.
Well,
Pen-
okay, so here's the question, I guess. If we could end the show on this. Do you think Pence could win the election?
If against Biden,
Yeah.
yeah, probably hands down. Yeah,
Hmm.
I think Pence. I think Pence is
he gets blown out.
like Pence is an easier sell than Trump. Everyone hates Trump. Like nobody.
I don't agree.
Hold on. You first said your voting for thing. Like nobody ever wins when they're running against somebody.
Right.
The only reason people would be showing up to vote for Biden is that they hate Trump. Now all of a sudden that reason is gone.
Yeah, but the Pence has the same problem. People aren't
They don't
give a
hate.
fuck about
They don't
Pence.
hate Pence as much.
They
as
don't hate Pence, but they don't.
They're agnostic
one's
about
good-
Pence. They're like, fuck.
They're
this.
agnostic. That's what I mean. People aren't going to show up for Pence like they would for Trump. That's what I think the difference is.
Maybe it could be. I don't know.
So
Trump is.
people were speculating because they're like, what would happen? Because here's the crazy thing. If they said Pence was negative for COVID, but if Trump had COVID and Pence had COVID and they were both incapacitated, you know what that means?
Nancy Pelosi. Holy shit.
Nancy
Holy
Pelosi becomes
shit.
fucking president. I'm like, this is like a
Pence.
fucking episode of West Wing. Like,
Pence,
what the fuck is happening?
You're quarantined, Pence. You can't leave the house.
Exactly. Pence is like, you gotta be like a shield, like make sure he does not get sick for the
Oh
next 2 weeks.
my God. Things, dude, fucking 2020. Crazy. I cannot
How
believe
ins-
this year.
That would be the most bonkers, craziest shit to ever happen. Okay. Both Trump and Pence are, they have coronavirus, they're incapacitated, but alive. And Nancy Pelosi's president while the election, like the day of the
I
election.
know. No shit.
Oh my, no one would ever believe the results. They're like, oh my God.
We are
such
a month.
disaster.
We are a fucking month away from this election, and
I know. This is
Trump
insane.
is supposedly quarantined for 3 weeks. Because isn't that the thing? It's like 21 days or at least 14 days.
Yeah, but he could be quarantined and still be president. It's only if he's
But he's
incapacitated,
not.
right?
Listen, he should be out campaiggning. Like he needs to be in these swing states.
No, I agree. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
That's not
Right,
going to
but I'm
happen
talking about in
now.
terms of hypothetical Nancy Pelosi president situation.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, that's even like
Yeah.
nuttier.
But I guess it doesn't matter because they said Pence didn't have COVID, so we won't get that episode of West Wing that we wanted.
Are we all caught up on super chats? Is this it?
All caught up. That's it.
Well, you got the unknown Otako for $2 says Trump's image died and rebirthed.
Rebirth via the media. Yep.
Yeah.
There you go. That's true. Maybe Trump, not personally Trump, but the idea of Trump will be reborn.
Well, sorry I fucked up the stream, guys. Hopefully it comes back. We'll find out. So
Hopefully we get the stream back and I can just cut out Adam's boomer mistake.
my total indiscretion.
Yes. So, anyways, thank you all for coming. Thank you all for your very generous super chats. And thank you all for the people who called in. We appreciate your support and we appreciate the conversation. And I guess we'll see you on Sunday. There's a lot of fucking streams this week.
Yeah, totally. We're
So we'll
killing
see
it.
you
We're gonna
Sunday.
beat Mahler by the end of the year.
Yep.
Bye-bye.